Alright guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead. So today, it's not clickbait. Honestly guys, I'm done cutting firewood. Now, to make you understand what I'm saying, I'm not getting rid of my wood burner. I'm just going to a different product. So, let's start at the beginning. Through doing all this years of firewood, we've tried to optimize as best as possible. We live on a hill, so pulling the splitter into the woods is almost impossible. So generally I have to cut the logs or the dead trees, chop them up, put them in the truck, bring them up the hill, take them to the splitter, split them, load it back in the truck, bring it back here, because our building is only big enough to have all our wood stacked for a year in it. You can't throw it in, so you got to stack it, which takes even more time. This is a very inefficient method to do firewood. Now, it still beats paying the electric cost to run a furnace in this thing, like we did the first winter we were here, but in the long term, you got to look at your time versus your money versus everything else. Now, in having these new side gigs like DoorDash and Uber Eats for me, and my wife doing Instacart and Shipt, and Grubhub, we can make $200 on a Saturday each. Now that would pay for probably almost our year's worth of wood, but yet in that same Saturday, working our butts off, we're probably only going to come up with somewhere around 2 to 3 cords of wood per split. Now when you add in the cost of maintaining a chainsaw, buying new chains, normal maintenance like air filters, and the time it takes to clean and sharpen chains, that's a lot of cost and time lost there. And then when you add in the regular maintenance of your splitter, as well as the gas and fuel and stuff for it, the oil, all that stuff, and the time it takes to actually split, and add in all the gas that goes in the truck, be it doing it the split wood way or the way I'm about to take you along and show you. So this is the end cut off of a cant. Now what a cant is a beam essentially. They take a log and they square it up. Alright? So our local sawmill here that makes pallets squares up logs into these beams called cants, and then it takes and cuts the ends off to square them up. So this is a block byproduct. They sell these for $35 a ton. Now, to put this in perspective, this is something that they just have extra, and every day they're making more. So it's a continual resource. Now, in other places you may find that sawmills make flooring and they will actually spin the log to take and get the veneer off to make the flooring, and they will sell the cores from the center. Or you may find that they sell slab wood, which is just the edges of the logs. These are all byproducts you can buy very cheap, bring home with very little processing, and be done. And you can burn them just like firewood, just as nice. Now, one thing I do have to say, all these sides on these are cut, which means these grains are now closed. So it does take longer for these to season than, say, a normal split firewood. Now, the sawmill we're going to doesn't deal with pine at all. Alright, so I don't even have to worry about that. Now, they do a lot of poplar, so some of these blocks are going to burn faster than others. That's something that you need to know. But what you see behind me in this center section is 2 loads in my 6-foot full-size pickup. Now, I do have to go down the highway with these so I don't overload the truck, but one load was $25, one load was $28. All right, and you can see the size of it, and there's no splitting. You go pick it up, you put it in the truck, you bring it home, you throw it here. Done. All right, so one of the other things I have to talk about, and a lot of people don't want to realize this, but ask yourself, do you want to keep using your wood burner long term? I do, but I'm not getting any younger. And the reality is I want to be able to do this when I'm 60 some years old, when I'm 70 some years old. And the only way I'm going to do that is A, by taking care of my body as much as possible now, but B, having something that I can have as a resource and be able to go get without having to physically beat myself up, as well as make it cost effective, because we are looking at, you know, a semi-early retirement here, and money does matter. Now the reality of this is you've got to find what works for you and what works for you in your area. But I'm going to take you along and show you the system of how this goes down. I want you to see this massive pile they have right now, because all summer long they build up this massive pile. And in the winter, everybody descends on this pile and buys it. But like I said, every day they're taking dumpster fulls out there and dumping them out on this pad, and you can go get them. Obviously they're wet at that time, so it's not really the best to burn then, but I have burned them and it does work. So come along with us. I'm going to take you out, show you the system, and then bring it back. We'll unload it and we'll talk about the long-term plans with this. Okay guys, as you can see, watch for that light to turn green, and that'll tell us they've got our weight and we can go in and get the blocks. There we go. Alright guys, get back on the scale here. Once again, we're looking at the green light. When it turns green, we'll go over and park and go inside that door right there and pay for it. Okay, there's our green light. Now we're gonna go over here and park, go inside. I'll be back with you. I'm gonna tell you the total. Alright guys, so let's see if we can get this to focus. $25.90 was the total. Not bad. So this load is averaging about what everything else is at $25. Now, I'm not going to film on the drive home. I'll get back with you when we get there because I want to be safe driving with this load on. And we're home. So as you can see, got the truck home, got it backed in here. Now I'm going to offload it. Now, you guys saw how easy that was. I literally drove my truck there, backed it up to the pile, threw it in, went back over the scale, went inside, paid, drove home. Now I'm throwing it out and then I'm done. That cuts out all that manual labor. Now that said, that site does offer a service for a few dollars where they'll take a piece of equipment out there and load up your vehicle for you if you want to pay extra. And at some places like that, they actually load it for you because of the insurance side of things. So it just depends on where you go and where you get it. But I think that if anybody really sits down and crunches the numbers and thinks about it, this is a much more cost-effective way to do firewood. Now, with this being mid-July, and since I do want to burn this wood this year, I want you to understand how I'm storing it here, because you see that it's not actually in the building, it's outside the building here. That way it'll get more sun. But what I plan on doing is covering it with clear plastic. That will keep it from getting wet when it rains. I mean, it will have some condensation that builds up on the underside and drips down, but it won't be much. But it basically will bake them under it. Now, around the side of my building here, the first pile we did this year, if you guys saw those videos earlier this year, we will burn that all the way up till about November, maybe pushing into December if I burn the two sides here first. Which means this wood will have till December to basically bake under that. December is when we start getting snow and stuff, so the sun, even on cooler days, will bake it under that plastic, which will help the water dissipate out of these blocks. It won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough. Now, having that I have firewood behind it, I will actually probably throw a few pieces of split wood, which will be very dry, on the bottom, fill the top up with blocks. That way the moisture can come out. Now, I do clean my wood burner chimney quite often, so this won't be a problem for me. But if you're going to start doing this, it's a good idea to get a year ahead. That way it gives these time to season completely, because like I said, all the sides are completely sawn, so they are actually closed grains. It's harder to dry. Now, I do know guys that go there and take the time to kind of sort out the bigger blocks, then they run them home and they'll put like 10 or 12 of them in line and then hit them with their log splitter once just to break them in half. That makes them season faster. I can't see going through all that. But I just wanted to share to you why we no longer are going to do the cut, split, the whole method. Some of you may say this will not work for me. And some of you may say, oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to try and look for something like this in my area. Either way, go down in the comments. Let me know what you burn. I know that there's some out there that burn briquettes in high wood areas, or like compressed blocks of wood. I know there's some out there that burn pellets. I know there's some out there that just do regular firewood. I know there's some out there that actually have oil burners and other things too. Let me know down in the comments what you're using to heat your home in the winters. And if you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos. If possible, take a moment, go down, hit like on this video. It really helps the channel, helps get us out here. It's a great way to show us that you appreciate our content. And with that said, I got a truck to unload and you guys get to go watch more of our videos. So I will see you in the next one.